Kilo, Charlie 8, Victor Romeo Papa. Name here is Alex. Here in East Point, Michigan, just north of Detroit, Roger.
Roger. And Alex, what kind of radio are you running today?
All right, Jim, we've last spoke I last checked in a couple of years ago, shortly after I got my General. This is a new radio and a new antenna. This is a Yaesu FT-991A, 991 Alpha. I am running 100 watts. Microphone is a Mich Delta 100, and I am running a 60-foot end-fed antenna, Roger.
Roger that. Well, if you're interested in our setup procedure, it begins with you verifying that your bandpass, your transmit bandpass is in the wide mode, 100 to 2900. Roger.
Wide mode, 100 to 2900. Roger.
Roger. I verified that setting, so we're all set on that front.
Great. Okay, and then we go to the compressor processor on and at a 3 out of 10 or 30 out of 100. Roger.
A 3 out of 10 or 30 out of 100. Roger.
And Alex, I just lost my Milford SDR. Come back and give me a couple of words there. Give me about 10 seconds to tell me about your antenna system. Let me look around for a better path. Roger?
Roger.
Okay, Roger. Alpha, J-Pool Senior. The feed point is 3 feet in the air, and it's almost a flat top. The point is 30 feet in the air. The antenna is 60 feet long, and it terminates down to about 23 feet. Roger.
Alrighty, I've got you on my local antenna, which is nice because I can hear your signal fidelity a lot better than the SDRs. A lot of these SDRs are rolling off on the bottom end. But this one, mine is down to 100 cycles, so we can talk turkey there on the EQ. So let's see here. We have your ALC. That's where we want to go next. Go to your ALC with mic gain in hand. And as you say the magic word audio, adjust your mic gain until your ALC is reading mid-scale to 2/3.
Audio. All right, ALC Jim is speaking to about 2/3. The the mic gain was set at 27. Now it's set at about 18. Roger.
Yeah, now you don't want to stress that word audio. You want to say the word audio just as in context like in normal speech. Audio, and that way you'll be right. Instead of really punching it, just say it naturally like you would, say any other word as you were in a Qso or something.
Hey, Roger. Audio. All right, it's about 2/3, Jim.
Great. Okay, now let's move to your equalization page. And we're looking, what kind of equalizer do you have, sir?
All right, Jim, this has a parametric EQ. I've never messed with the parametric EQ settings. People basically told me my audio sounded fine. Sounded fine with just a little bit of processor and the mic gain, that was set at 27, but I've never delved into the parametric EQ settings, Roger.
Roger, so that's a 3-band parametric, is that a Roger?
Roger, so that's a 3-band parametric, is that a Roger?
Oh, dear. You know what, I can go in the menu, I know exactly where it's at. know there's, I think, about 9 different settings, probably one more low, mid, and high.
Roger that, roger that. Well, we want just a little bit more top in there, so if you can get to your EQ, I'll tell you what it needs, Roger.
Your EQ, I'll tell you what it needs, Roger.
Okay, I'm doing that right now. I'm just looking at the settings. There's an EQ1, EQ2, and an EQ3.
Roger, roger. Okay, EQ3, is that the treble control, top end treble control?
The treble control, top end treble control.
So I guess it would be, what did you want, a little bit more low end? Is that what we're looking for?
No, sir, no, sir. We're looking, is there one set at 2.6K, 2600 with a 4 width?
K, 2600 with a 4 width.
Okay, the only thing I'm seeing here that comes close to 2600 on the menu is parametric EQ frequency. And that is set at 2100.
Right, that's the top one. In other words, you have one at the bottom at 200 cycles or so, then you have a mid-range at 900 cycles or so, Roger?
You have a mid-range at 900 cycles or so, Roger.
Menu number 131 on this radio. Parametric EQ2 frequency is set at 800, Roger.
Yeah, that's the mid-range one, Roger.
Yeah, that's the mid-range one, Roger.
I believe it is. Like I said, it's grouped into EQ1, EQ2, and EQ3, so I'm assuming that's low to high, Roger. Or the reverse.
Well, the low should be at 200 cycles. Do you have one at 200 cycles?
Be at 200 cycles. Do you have one at 200 cycles?
Okay. Menu 128 EQ1 frequency is set at 200, Roger.
All right, so it's the other one. It's the that's number one. We want to go to number 3, which is on the other end. Number 3, Roger, the top one, Roger.
Number 3, Roger, the top one, Roger.
Okay, menu 134 on this radio, parametric EQ3 frequency is set at 2100, Roger.
All right, so we want to move that frequency up to 2600. Want to move that frequency up to 2600, Roger.
Want to move that frequency up to 2600, Roger.
KC8VRP. I got the setting at 2600, Roger.
All right, now you see the width. Can you, is the width a 4? We want to set the width to a 4, Roger.
4. We want to set the width to a 4, Roger.
Setting. All right, let me switch it. It is on 2 right now. I think that's the default setting. So let me switch that to. Okay, did you say switch it to 4 or switch it to 2? I'm sorry.
Switch the width to a 4. Switch the width to a 4, Roger.
To a 4. Switch the width to a 4, Roger.
Okay, sorry about that. Setting you gave me, the width is a 4. The width, let's see, parametric EQ bandwidth, number 4, Roger.
Yes, sir. All right, now I want you to increase the level by 3. Increase the level of that by 3, Roger, from where you are.
Hey, Roger, from where you are.
Okay, Jim, roger, roger. The level is at, I went from 0 to 3, Roger.
Yes, sir. I think it sounds really good now. Why don't you give me 10 seconds and tell me the best thing you like about your radio?
Best thing you like about your radio?
All right, Jim, very good. Well, I didn't like the fact that I had to actually return it after a month. There was an issue. I bought this radio new. It's about a year old now. I had to return it to Yaesu, and shipping wasn't too friendly from Detroit to California. It was about $87 shipping and insurance. There was an issue with the tuner grounding to the circuit board. But the radio has been rock solid since. But my favorite feature is the digital noise reduction feature. It can take a very weak, noisy signal and really tidy it up and clean it up to where I could actually, hear the other station quite well, Roger.
Roger, okay, I'm looking at your audio level. I want you to go back to your ALC meter. And what is your mic gain at the moment? What is your actual mic gain at the moment?
Okay, current settings, I was originally at 27 on the mic gain. Now I'm at 23. The processor is still set at 6%, 6 out of 100. And I'm looking at my ALC, and my ALC is peaking roughly about 2/3, Roger.
Roger, okay, so we want to set that processor, that mic compressor processor, should be a 3 out of 10 or 30 out of 100. 3 out of 10 or 30 out of 100, Roger?
Roger, let me do that now. This is KC8VRP. Notice my ALC spiked up a little bit there. But processor is set at 3030, Roger.
Roger, and how far are you off your mic? How far away are you? You should be about 3 or 4 inches, no more than that, Roger?
All right, Jim, I'm about 4 fingers away, 4 fingers away.
All right, don't go further than that. You want to stay that close, or even come an inch closer. Let me hear you an inch closer.
Okay, Roger. I'm a little bit closer here, maybe about 3 inches away, Roger.
Yeah, I think I would run it that way. Yeah, look at your ALC, and you should be, you might have to turn down just a tad, and maybe not. Just remember that word, audio, is spoken just as any other word that you might speak in a QSO.
Okay, Roger. All right, audio. Now, right now it's about 90% on the ALC meter, Roger.
All right, we're looking for mid-scale to 2/3, so you might need to pull her down just a little bit. Mid-scale to 2/3 is ideal, Roger. And actually, the sweet spot is halfway between mid-scale and 2/3, which you just can't camp there. You have to have some fluctuation, so we say mid-scale to 2/3 is the ideal fluctuation.
All right, so Jim, you want me to turn down the processor and leave the mic gain as is, Roger?
No, leave the processor 3 out of 10 or 30 out of 100. That is the setting for the processor. You don't need to change that at all, ever. 3 out of 10 or 30 out of 100. That will be the processor setting till the cows come home, Roger?
Okay, Roger. So let me turn down the mic gain.
Yes, sir. Mic gain down to where your ALC is running mid-scale to 2/3.
Audio. That's about the sweet spot right there. So the mic gain is at 14. Is at 14 out of 100, and the processor is still set at processor 30, Roger.
Yes, sir. And that should be it. What I want you to do now is I want you to leave your ALC meter out. for the next week or so. As gives you something to do as you're transmitting. Be looking at your ALC meter as you speak. And over a period of time, like 2 or 3 days, you'll be able to keep that ALC meter in the sweet spot just by how you utilize your voice. You will develop a relationship with your ALC meter, Roger?
With your ALC meter, Roger?
Okay, Roger. I will definitely keep my eye on that. I tend to yell in the mic sometimes, especially on DX, but is the compression setting a concern, Roger? I have not looked at my compression reading. Should that be a concern there, Jim?
No. Compression reading, don't worry about that. That 3 out of 10 or 30 out of 100 takes care of that. You don't have to worry about that compressor again. Forget about that. Just keep that setting and keep it on, and that will be copacetic by itself. You don't have to even think about that anymore, Roger?
Think about that anymore, Roger?
Okay, Roger. I do have a question, though. I don't know. Hold on back. Okay, sorry about that. My YL just got home. But I'm running that NSAT antenna on 40, 20, and 17. I'm running an IMAX 2000 vertical on 10, 12, and 15. I noticed my ALC readings are different. People say I have a good great sounding audio on 10 meters, 10, 12, and 15. Are not as good as on the wire antenna. So basically, I was just wondering, is the ALC settings between the two antennas, is that a common thing, Roger, or you have to change your ALC in the processor, whatever band you work off of the respective antennas, Roger?
Yeah, you shouldn't have to change anything. The thing that you're probably looking at is a shift in your SWR level. In other words, one antenna may be closer to correct tuning than the other. The thing is, if you're using an antenna tuner, Roger?
You're using an antenna tuner, Roger?
Roger. I'm using LDG auto tuner, Roger.
All right, so if you set that for each one separately, and in other words, when you go to one, just automatically hit that to set the minimum SWR. There should be no difference in your ALC modulation or anything, RF output or nothing, because they're both theoretically looking at 52 ohms or thereabouts, Roger?
52 ohms or thereabouts, Roger?
Hey, Roger. All I know is the IMAX is right out of the box. It's almost perfect SWR on 10 meters without even needing the tuner. I don't even need the tuner on 10 meters. So I get about a 1 to 28.4, but the wire antenna on 40, 20, and 17, that has to be obviously touched up. It's still below 3 to 1, but the wire is not as resonant as the vertical, Roger.
Yeah, Roger that. I would suggest a resonant dipole antenna. I have found those to be just beautiful. Resonant dipole antenna. Of course, you can't work as many bands with that kind of antenna, but the bands that you do work are just perfect, because you can take that SWR down to nothing, and you don't need an antenna tuner or nothing,
Tuner or nothing,
That's exact. I'm waiting for the weather to break here in Metro Detroit. We had 80 degrees last week, and last night it got in the 30s. So that actually is my plan there, Jim, is to build my first antenna. So I kind of wanted something on like 40 and 20 and use the vertical for the others, but it is in the works, Jim. It is in the works. You're one step ahead.
Roger, Alex, and I'll tell you the way I tune those dipoles. I do my SWR trimming I'm not running a transformer, so I'm running coax directly to the dipole. So I've got a shield connected to one side of the dipole and the hot side to the other side of the dipole. And I make my SWR adjustments on the negative side, on the ground side of the transmission line element on the dipole. The ground side is my SWR adjustment, and I bring it back onto frequency on the high side of the dipole antenna. So, and you just keep going back, as you move. You obviously have a mid-frequency in mind for the band that you're working, so that is your goal, and you trim the SWR on the negative side and bring it back to the ideal frequency on the positive side. Keep going back and forth, working the SWR down to a minimum point. Roger?
To a minimum point, Roger.
Hey, Roger. Yeah, good point. I wrote some of that down there. I'll implement that into my design. But yeah, it's kind of funny. I just switched over to the compressor settings, compressor meter, and it's not showing
frequencies in use.
Compressor.
Frequencies in use.
But the ALC, after those adjustments, the ALC is about mid-scale, Roger.
Okay, but you should have your compressor processor in and at a 3 out of 10 or 30 out of 100. Compressor processor on and reading input level to 3 out of 10 or 30 out of 100. Roger? 10 or 30
out of 100. Roger?
Roger. Processor, compressor set at 30. And then mic gain is still set at 14, Roger.
Yes, sir. And another thing about that dipole antenna, what I also do is I use a thing at the end of the line called a split bolt. And a split bolt is a bolt with a split and a nut on it, and you can put wires together with it and screw it tight. And I use about like a foot piece of wire that hangs down 90 degrees to the transmission line. It's just a piece of wire that's connected to the antenna at the end by a split bolt. And what you can do is use that and just bend that up on itself, or you can even snip that or whatever, but you don't have to cut into your actual transmission line. You just nibble away on this piece that's hanging down. Roger?
Roger?
Got that noted, Jim. I screwed up. I actually did not. We did those processor or the equalization settings, and my equalizer was off. So I don't know if we went backwards or not. I just turned my equalizer on right now. The equalizer was off, so this probably put a wrench in the mix, Roger.
So sounds good. Sounds perfect. I wouldn't. All right, so your equalizer's on, in and on, and your compressor's on. Is that a Roger?
Your compressor is on. Is that a Roger?
Roger. Mic EQ I just set on. There's an on and off on the mic EQ on the display. Processor at 30, and then let's see, mic EQ mic gain is still set at 14, Roger.
Yes, sir. Okay, well, just keep your ALC meter out and be looking at that ALC when you talk here for the next week or so, and you'll find that you'll develop a relationship with your ALC and be able to control that level just by your voice. Roger?
Just by your voice, Roger?
Okay, Roger. All right, now that I put the EQ on, I am showing some compression movement, not much. It peaks at maybe about a 2 or 3 on the compression. And let's see. I'm just switching ALC right now. Audio. Yeah, it's about half scale, Roger.
Yes, sir. It looks really good. I'm looking at your meter on a VU meter, and I'm looking at your audio on a VU meter. It looks really good. You're running about 3 dB dynamic range, which means your average percent of peak modulation is somewhere between 80 and 85%. Roger?
80 and 85%. Roger?
Okay, Roger. At least I'm in the ballpark now, because the last time you helped me with my audio, I had a Yaesu 450 Delta. It did not have all these compression settings. The EQ is very mediocre, so I have a rig now that has all those capabilities and ways of tweaking the audio. But I appreciate you so much for helping me out. Like I said, it's been a couple years, and I've advanced. I consider to be a lot more advanced in the hobby. So, Jim, you take care, and I very much appreciate your help. This is KC8VRP 73, Jim. I think we're done for right now. Anyway, on your final there.
Roger, Alex, 73, sir, and we'll be uploading this to YouTube. Have it up there by noon tomorrow. So if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, that will take you to this recording. This will be cut number 1 of a 2100 series of recordings. Roger?
Series of recordings, Roger.
Okay, Jim. Roger. Yeah, I really enjoy your. It's been a while since I've checked in, like I said, but I appreciate what you do for us in the hobby there, who don't have quite an ear for the audio. Being the audiophile that you are, thank you so much, and I'll be anxious to hear what I sound like tomorrow afternoon, Roger.
Roger, Alex, 73, sir. Have a great afternoon, a beautiful weekend. And this is the Qso-Vlog net for Friday afternoon. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Radio.